Good afternoon, everybody. What is going on? I am jeffgrantMEDIA. In today's real user review, we will be taking a look at the Huckberry exclusive Brown Buffalo Concealpack 21. Now, this is the exclusive Multicam Black colorway, only available at Huckberry. So Huckberry did send me this bag as a sample for review, but all the opinions in this video are mine and mine alone. I did not share this content with Huckberry or the Brown Buffalo prior to publication. They will see this when you do. In addition to that, there is an affiliate link in the description box down below. If you're considering buying this pack or any other product from Huckberry, please consider using that link. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but I do get a small percentage of the sale kickback to me. And all of the money goes back into the channel to help me produce more content so consumers can make informed purchasing decisions. So, this sexy beast right here, I will say right up top, it has been a pleasure to use this bag. I really enjoy using this bag. I like it a lot. I'm personally a big fan of Multicam Black, so I really enjoy the colorway. I know MCB is not for everyone and MCB doesn't fit in every scenario, but for me, I carry this to the office and it worked just fine for that. I am also the guy that carries loud, ridiculously bright and crazy backpacks to the office. I do have a bit of leeway with my occupation, where I work and what I do, but it's not for everyone. Not everyone can carry a crazy loud backpack or a Multicam Black backpack. So TBB does also make this on their site in more muted colors, if you will. But again, I really like the Multicam Black. And personally, I think, you gotta catch it in the light. But if you're in a little bit darker situation, if I kind of move it a little close to the camera so you're not seeing quite the light on it, it does look just kind of like a dark bag. So it can fit in a few more situations than, like, say, Woodland Camel would. But let's get into a few of the specs. So this is $245 at the time of filming, which I will say is a really good price for this bag after using it, knowing the materials, knowing how it's handling, how it's wearing, being made in the USA. That's a really, really good price. This is also they're calling it a waterproof bag, but technically, I think it has to be submergible to be waterproof, so I'm going to call this a weatherproof bag because it is made from an X50 laminate with a 500D Cordura face fabric. What that means is you see this shiny material with this Xing on the inside. That's the X50, where the outside is 500D Cordura. So the X50 is the technical fabric that's going to help keep the bag more waterproof, if you will, or weatherproof as I like to call it, while the 500D Cordura front-facing fabric is going to add a lot more durability to the bag because some of these technical fabrics, some of these laminate materials, they're not going to be as abrasion resistant as Cordura, so putting the 500D Cordura as the front-facing material adds a lot of extra abrasion resistance to this bag, making it a lot more durable. And in my own experience, I have found that 500D and 1000D Cordura is fairly weather resistant as well. After a couple of hours, of course, it will wet out. That's when the X50 comes in, but you're also using the 500D that is, in my experience, fairly weather resistant on top of that X50, and then the bag is also lined with VX21 on the interior, giving it even more of a weatherproof barrier. In addition, as I already said, this is a USA made bag, so this is made in America. This is also TSA carry-on compliant, so you can use this as your one bag travel. And I will say, for a 21 liter pack, this is certainly punching above its weight class. You can fit a lot inside this bag, and a lot of that comes down to the shape of the bag and the fact that it is a full clamshell. You can really utilize and load up this bag completely. Bags that have sometimes like a tapered shape to it or some just random awkwardly shaped bags, you can't fully utilize. Yes, if they measure the bag, it will have a larger volume, but depending upon the shape and the accessibility of how you get into the bag and access it, it really does limit what you can carry. And even though you may have a 30 liter pack, you may only be able to fit the equivalent of like a 20 liter pack. If you had something like this that's more of a rectangle with a clamshell opening, you can certainly fit a lot more in it. So this being 21 liters, I can certainly carry more, closer to, I would say, at least a 25, maybe upwards of almost a 30 liter pack's worth of gear inside this 21 liter bag. In addition to that, we also have 4 points of attachment on the harness where you can add a chest rig to the bag, concealed laptop compartment where you can also add an additional frame sheet. And I'm gonna say it right now before I forget, I haven't been carrying my laptop because it's getting kind of old, so I just carry a hard drive with all my data, but I do carry my 10-inch tablet, which obviously fits in here no problem, but a 16-inch MacBook Pro does fit in here, as I did test it out to make sure. Now, some of the carry uses for the Brown Buffalo Conceal 20 is that it could be basically anything. This is a awesome all-around bag. They've done a ton of testing with this, from operators in the field to just straight up commuters, photographers, athletes. They've done a lot of testing with this. And with the inside of the bag, having the loop section for hook and loop, think Velcro on the back, you can kind of organize this, add attachment points to this, and you can really customize the layout of this bag. And it would work really, really well as a camera bag, especially because we have the VX21, the X50, and the 500D Cordura. You zip this thing up. Personally, I would orientate the zippers down if I'm going to carry a lot of camera gear in here, and then you can keep all of your camera gear in here pretty much safe, sound, and secure. And because it doesn't look like a camera bag, it's kind of inconspicuous, and this is what I love. I love sleeper camera bags, as I call them. So this would make a great camera bag for me. I might switch out of what I'm currently using into this because I'm really, really enjoying using this pack. It's been really great. I've been EDCing this, so I've been carrying this every single day to the office. I have not loaded this out with all of my camera gear, because I've been doing mostly studio stuff. I've been doing a lot of talking heads and kind of interview type stuff in the office and some training videos, so I haven't really needed to carry my camera gear a distance. I've really been going from the editing suite upstairs to the studio downstairs. I haven't been going very far, so I haven't really tested this out with camera gear. Sometimes normally I would do that, but I'll go ahead and say it, I'm just starting to get lazy in my old age. But I could tell from past experience that this would be a phenomenal camera bag, especially having that loop section across the whole entire back. I can put a camera cube in there and I can stick it and Velcro it to the back so it's not going to be bouncing around and jostling away. And then I can actually put in camera dividers in here if I really wanted to put additional gear in here, so I can really lay this thing out. It's a very simplistic design, but overall the interior is a big, nice cavernous space. I can lay this out exactly how I want it. I have all of my EDC carry in here now, and you can see I have plenty of space, but if I have this background, I can stick my camera cubes in here, and I could probably fit 2 of my camera cubes in here. I have a square one that I could probably put across the bottom, which carries generally my camera, microphone, batteries, memory card, stuff like that. And then I have one that has an arch top that has my drone, all the drone accessories. So I could fit the drone up here that would fit and contour to the top of the bag and fit my camera cube down here. And I could fit both of those camera cubes in this one bag, zip it up, and then you would have no idea that I'm carrying thousands of dollars worth of camera gear. And that's the way I like it. I really, really love sleeper camera bags. Even my work camera bag is a bag that does not look like a camera bag because I'm generally carrying a lot of expensive equipment in there, and I don't want people to know what's inside my bag. So sleeper camera bags and this TBB that looks just like a regular standard backpack is a great sleeper bag because of the materials that it's made out of, because of the way you can lay this out and organize it. You can really fit a lot of stuff in here and no one would know that you're carrying expensive camera stuff. And I said that this punches above its weight class because I feel like even though this is a 21-liter concealed pack, you can really fit a lot in here. This is my full standard EDC. The rest of it's kind of organized in these pockets here, but I have all of this extra room. And because this is the X50, which is a bit rigid, combined with the 500D, it's standing on its own. It's creating more or less a shelf or a rim or a bowl to put things in. So when I open it up and I drop the bag down, nothing's spilling out. Everything's just staying inside the bag. So I can really pack this out because I can put stuff in here without worrying about it just kind of falling out as I'm trying to load it up. And then if we slide up to the lid, we have these 2 big pockets here where I've been keeping like my pound cakes. I keep one in each of these pockets. It just helps to organize them. And then I have a few other tablets, my smaller notebooks and stuff in there as well. But TBB says that you can carry up to a 32-ounce bottle in one of these pockets. So to prove that you can, it swallows up a 32-ounce Nalgene. So for all of you thirsty folk that need to carry 32 or even 64 ounces of water, the bag can swallow it up absolutely no problem. But if you're carrying water like that, just make sure your lid is on nice and tight and secure, because if it leaks inside this weatherproof bag, the water's not coming out, so it's going to be sloshing around in there. So for your own sake, sanity, and to keep everything tech included inside the bag safe and dry, make sure your water bottle lids are safely secured. Past our big, huge dump pockets here, we also have this one mesh pocket here. Now, this is not a stretchable mesh. You can see through it. It does feel a bit abrasive, but it's not like sandpapery. Like, I can rub my hand on it. It just feels, weird. I've never had a mesh like this before, but I, just keep some basic stuff in here. So I've been throwing my pens and one of my miscellaneous pouches that has some random things in there. So I've been kind of tossing that stuff in there. I'll also throw my GoPro in here. If I don't have it on the scooter, I'll just toss that in there, zip it in there. And I've been using this as my QA pocket as well. So I kind of just throw any of my quick access. That's why my pens and stuff are in here, because there's no exterior QA pocket here. There's no top pocket for me to throw small, easy to grab items in. The only exterior pocket is the big vertical zip pocket. Now, I do keep a few things in there, but I don't want to throw like my quick access things like my pen or a snack or something in there, because they're going to just kind of sink to the bottom and get lost, because this is a big space. It does take up the whole front of the bag, so any kind of small items I throw in here, they're going to kind of get swallowed up in here. I've been throwing a few small things in here. I'll throw some paperwork if I have to carry anything in here, because it helps to keep it nice and vertical and nice and safe and secure. But there is no outside QA pocket, so I just kind of unzip it, and then I kind of just fold the lid down, and I can just boop, access it. So it's an extra step because I have to go through the top zipper, but it just keeps everything else a little bit more secure. So if there was one negative that I found with this bag, is that there is no exterior QA pocket. Now, the downside with an exterior QA pocket, especially on a weatherproof bag, it adds an extra point of entry for liquids to get into the bag, which is probably why TBB did not put one on this bag. They are incredibly useful. I know a lot of consumers really like, and some of them need that QA pocket on a bag, and some people will pass on a bag if it does not have the QA pocket. But because this is a very weatherproof bag, I'm gonna say that TBB did not include a QA top loading pocket, specifically because it is a point of entry for water to get inside the bag, especially if you're carrying camera gear or tech in here. You don't want water getting in, and you certainly don't want to spill that water inside the bag if you're carrying your 32-ounce Nalgene bottle inside your bag, so make sure that lid's tight. So that's probably why there's no QA pocket to the bag. It's just a design feature that was probably thought through. Now, if it's a deal breaker for you, there isn't a QA pocket. There's plenty of bags that have a similar shape that you can get with the QA pocket, but I will say this X50 with 500D face material is really great. I have worn this on the scooter quite a bit. I have been caught in some rain in it, and I have not gotten a single thing wet on the inside of this bag. So it does work really well in the rain. I have not been in an extended torrential downpour like I was last weekend. I had a different backpack. I had a dad bag with me where I wish I brought the TBB, but I have been on the scooter in a rainstorm for 15 to 20 minutes outside driving the scooter. Now, when I'm driving, obviously some of that water is going to be flying over me, but when I'm stopped at a stop sign or a red light, I am getting wet, and nothing inside the bag got wetted out. So the bag does work. Again, I don't want to go ahead and say it's waterproof because it is not submergible, but I will say it is very weatherproof. Nothing inside got wet, and that included my tablet that I have on the back of the bag. And when we're talking about the back of the bag, let's talk about the air mesh that is not only on the back of the bag, but also on the shoulder straps. It has been hot. Very hot here lately, and I run very hot. And when I'm on the scooter, I'm also wearing a jacket for sun protection, and also to, maybe keep the flesh on my body at least just a little bit longer if I were to happen to go down. Now, I do ride a Honda Ruckus. It's a motor scooter. It only goes about 45 miles an hour top speed bombing down a hill, so I'm not going super duper fast, so I generally wear a denim jacket. But it's still hot wearing a denim jacket in the summer sun, in the heat, on the scooter. And this back panel, even though it doesn't have a big channel, I've really become accustomed to bags that have a really large center channel. It's been doing really good for me. I have not been incredibly sweaty. I mean, I run hot, so no matter what, even if I have a big center channel, I get hot, I get sweaty. But the back panel has been working really well. It's been keeping me fairly vented. I would like to see a larger center channel. I've been using that again on a lot of bags I've been testing lately, have a big deep center channel, and I found that to be really nice and comfortable for me. This didn't necessarily need it, but if I were to do one design change myself to the bag, I don't want to say it's a negative point, it's a point of note, but a design change that I would make at least a bigger center channel, or maybe make a few, like 3 channels throughout, just to get a little bit more airflow. Now, it did work really well for me, but I would like to give it just a little bit more airflow. I wasn't overly hot. I've had bags where I've sweat far worse than the TBB Concealpack 21, so it did work really well, especially for a mostly flat back bag, but I would like to see a larger center channel, or maybe at least 3 channels going through to just help with some of that back ventilation. And we do have a luggage pass-through strap, so if you are carrying this and combining with a roller bag at the airport, you can just slide this down over your roller bag. You don't have to wear it to the airport, and you can just roll your backpack with your roller bag through the airport. So that's also an option. Now we do have, again, I mentioned this before, we do have our back laptop panel where I've been keeping my tablet mostly. That is also lined with the loop section of the hook and loop. Now TBB says you can actually add a frame sheet here if you need to add some more rigidity to it. So this bag does not have a frame sheet. We have our standard back panel, which, you know, it does have a little bit of form to it. And most of our form and structure is coming from the divider between the laptop sleeve and the main body of the bag being loop lined on both sides. It actually adds a little bit more rigidity to it. So I have not found that I need a frame sheet inside this bag. Now, if I were to put a bunch of camera equipment in here, I probably would put a frame sheet in here just to give it a little bit more rigidity, because I can feel like if I put like my drone up top, especially if I have it Velcroed in there, it might start to bend and droop the bag down. So a frame sheet in here might give me some good rigidity that I might need if I'm loading this out with a lot of camera gear. But as an EDC pack, I found I have not needed to add one in there. It's been working just fine, just because this is a thicker material, the loop material. It's heavier, it's thicker, so it is adding a little bit of rigidity to the bag already. You can see, I mean, it's loaded up. It wants to tip forward, but it's not bending or leaning forward, so the bag isn't bending at all. So it has a pretty good form and shape to it. Now we're talking about form and shape, comfort. It's been pretty comfortable to wear. Again, I said the back panel has been pretty decent to wear with all this nice heat. The straps themselves, they're nice, they're pretty thick, they're pretty pliable. They lay nicely over the shoulder, over the clavicle. I don't have any points where I feel like it's pressing or hurting me. I have enough thickness to give me comfort while not being too thick where I just feel like they're incredibly stiff. That's kind of like the line. It's really hard to draw. Sometimes you either get not enough padding where the bag is just uncomfortable to wear over a period of time, or you have too much where the bag is uncomfortable to wear over a period of time because it just kind of fits, it kind of floats over you, and it kind of just, it rubs against the side of your neck, or it kind of digs into your clavicle because even though there's a lot of cushion in there, it's just too dense and too thick where it doesn't conform to the body. Not the case here. The TBB straps are nice, they're well thought out, they bend, they conform to the body, they fit really nice, and they feel comfortable to wear over an extended period of time. And driving this on the scooter in the heat, they can conform to the body, especially when I'm bending and moving as I'm driving and riding. I'm completely fine and completely comfortable wearing the bag. And another point that I always like to touch on is the grab handle. This is a 21-liter pack, but I said it punches above its weight class, so you can fit a lot in here. And this grab handle, it's pretty good. Now, it is a doubled up piece of webbing. It does have some thickness to it here, so it does feel like there's a bit of padding on the palm. It is comfortable enough that it's covering enough space. I'd like to see this maybe a tiny bit wider, but really I haven't had any issues with it. It's been completely fine. Going back to if I load this out for camera gear, it will be a little bit heavier. That's where I think having it a tiny bit wider might be a plus if I'm carrying a ton of weight, but thus far with my EDC, it has been fine. It's good solid webbing with an interesting design because there is a smaller piece of webbing that kind of goes to the middle, and then the larger piece of webbing just kind of comes and is folded over the top and then sewn over. So it's actually two pieces of webbing, one of which is kind of doubled up, giving you a fairly squishy, substantial grab handle. So even though it's not super wide, it's still working really, really well. But again, if I were to be carrying a bunch of camera gear in here, I like it to be a tiny bit wider just so it can disperse that weight across the palm a little bit better. In addition, we do actually have a couple extra Haplon patches on the sides here. And personally, what I've been using these for is I take my ID badge when I get home from work and I clip it to the bag. That way I never lose my ID badge. But all in all said and done, all in, do I think the Brown Buffalo Huckberry collab is worth your $245? And honestly, yeah, I've loved this bag. This has been a great bag to use. It's been a pleasure to use. I love clamshell bags. I love Cordura bags. My heart will always be with Cordura. It's always been my favorite bag material. I love my technical fabrics. I love my laminates. They're great for weatherproofing, but I'm about the durability and the lifelong wear of the bag, and this combines both. So I have the durability with the lifelong wear of the 500D facing fabric, but I have the technical ability of the X50 and then the VX21 as the liner, keeping this a very weatherproof bag. $245 is a very fair price for this bag. It originally was going for $350. Now, this bag is awesome. I've really enjoyed using it. I like the Multicam Black. It's been great to wear. It's been comfortable to wear. It's kept my stuff dry when I got caught in the rain on the scooter coming home. It is a very simple yet very effective design of the bag with a full clamshell, so you can actually fully access the bag. It stands on its own, even standing up, and then when you're laying it down, it stands on its own, so you could pack it out without everything falling out of the bag. Yeah, I mean, it's an American-made bag. It's made from quality materials. It's going to last you for a very long time. It's basically bomb-proof. Yeah, I'm totally happy with this bag, and I love the Multicam Black. I know Multicam Black isn't for everyone, but if you want one camouflage color that you can wear in the most amount of settings, it's gonna be MCB. This stands out the least in a crowd than basically any other camouflage. I mean, there's God's Plaid of the woodland camo, but that would stand out in a crowd way more than a Multicam Black bag would. But all in, all said and done, I am very satisfied with the Huckberry Brown Buffalo Concealpack 21 in the exclusive Multicam Black colorway, not just because of the colorway, which I do love, but the form, the function, the feel, the fit of the bag has been great. It's worked out amazing for me, being caught in the rain. It's kept everything dry. It's a combination of my favorite fabric, which is a 500 or 1000D Cordura, also with the technical fabrics that I do love. Don't get me wrong, I love the technical fabrics. I just personally love the feel and the form and the durability of Cordura, but it combines the two, so I'm getting the technical aspect and the weatherproofing of the X50 and the VX21 with the durability and abrasion resistance of the 500D Cordura. So it's combining two really good fabrics together to give you this bag with some good features that you can really use this thing any way you need it. This will fit in the office. This will fit for your urban commute. This will fit for your cycling commute. This will fit out in the field. They said they had operators test this bag, athletes test this bag, and I've tested this bag for my own personal uses, and I found it to be amazing. It's a great bag. It's very versatile. I can fit a lot into it, like a lot, far more than you could think you could fit in a 21-liter bag, and it doesn't feel bulky on the back, even though I'm saying it punches above its weight class, and it's a 21-liter pack that carries far more than 21 liters. It feels fine. It's not like the depth of the bag. It doesn't feel like it's too bulky, it's sticking out on my bag. The width of the bag, it doesn't feel like it's too wide. I don't feel it rubbing. I hate when a bag's too wide and I can feel it kind of rubbing against the backs of my arms as I'm walking with it. Not the case. The feel of the bag on the body is great. The feel of the bag touching it is great. So overall, I'm very happy with the Huckberry TBB Concealpack 21 collab bag. This is a great bag. I only wish I had tried TBB sooner, because that's making me feel like I certainly missed out on some great packs over the years when I was basically doing nothing but reviewing bags, and I never jumped on a TBB. But hey, when you review that many bags, there's a lot of options out there, and you can't do all of them, especially when you're buying 90% of those bags with your own money. You can only do so many before you go broke. And I'm glad that I finally got a chance to test out a TBB bag. So if you're looking at it, snag one. It's a great pack. I'm very happy with it and enjoyed using it, and will continue to do so. So if you like this video or any of my other videos, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Smash that big red button and ring that bell right next to it so you get notifications next time I post a brand new video. Good night.